Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Caden Aguiar, giving you episodes every single Friday, giving you your local Daytona State sports news, as well as NFL, NBA, college basketball, and college football. Let me fade this music out here. Topics to go over today, man. We're going to start off here with Joe Flacco. He's the headline again for the second week of fifth quarter. Props to him. But he is traded to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they may have found their rental QB in Joe Flacco. Let me tell you this. Joe Flacco is a gunslinger QB. So I think that when Joe Flacco goes in, and when we see Joe Flacco on Sunday play against the Packers, it was already told by Zach Taylor that he's going to be playing this Sunday. I don't really know what to think. You know, I mean, Joe Flacco could really go in there and say, hey, you know, I have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins now. I could gunsling the ball everywhere. They're just going to go up and catch the ball. But, you know, I still don't know what to think about this defense. I still don't know what to think about the offensive line. I don't know. We'll see if Joe Flacco can be successful in this league still. He's proven it time and time again that, yes, he can do with what he has, but, you know, let's see him on the Bengals. I don't know. I think that Joe Flacco could fill in this QB hole that they have with him. Another trade that was made this week was Odafe Oweh, and he's going to be going to the Chargers in a trade with the Ravens. This is a fantastic move by the Los Angeles Chargers here. You get a good pass rusher in place of an injured Khalil Mack, so that's good. And you know, let's see if the Chargers can go and get back on track to winning like they were at the beginning of the season. I think Odafe Oweh can really fill in the pass rush hole that was in this Chargers team these past few weeks. And then actually a trade that was made last night that I didn't have in my notes at first, and I had to put it in. Between the Jaguars and the Browns, Tyson Campbell and Greg Newsome kind of flip-flopping teams here. Tyson Campbell in the 7th round in 2026 has been traded to the Browns for Greg Newsome and a 2026 6th-round pick. Jags feel that Greg Newsome can fulfill the lockdown corner role that the Jags really do need to really make them the best defense in the league. We already see them. They're Strapsonville right now. They are playing great. They have the most takeaways in the league. But now if Greg Newsome can come in and shut down the best receiver on the field, I think that makes them the best defense in the league, point blank period. So on the topic of trades here, here are some trades that we could expect by trade deadline. I think that we could see either Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson get traded to a team that is in need of a QB. I don't know yet who that would be, but we could see a move by trade deadline of Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson being traded. Another Cleveland trade could be Joel Bitonio or Wyatt Teller, both of their guards, be traded to a team that needs pass protectors. The Bucks are one of them. The Houston Texans could be in there. Teams that need pass protecting desperately right now, maybe even the Bengals. You know, for a guy like Joel Bitonio or Wyatt Teller, I don't know if they're going to get traded to the Bengals because it's interdivisional. And, you know, it's not common to see somebody get traded into a division, you know, inside a division. So I don't really know what's going to happen there. I could see Joel Bitonio or Wyatt Teller going to the Texans. That would be an insane trade. That would really elevate CJ Stroud's play, I think, and really just make them a dominant team. Mark Andrews is also very well on the trading block with Isaiah Likely outperforming him as of late. And there is only one team that I really see him going to, and I've been talking about it for the past week, is I could see Mark Andrews teaming up with Baker Mayfield again in a Bucs uniform. Right now the Bucs have Cade Otton, and, you know, Cade Otton, he's solid, he's good, but, you know, Mark Andrews, let's take a look at him even just 3 years ago. He was probably the second best tight end in the league, and now he's kind of quieting down a little bit, and his role has decreased. So I think that he needs to change the scenery, get out of Baltimore, go play for a team, go play for Baker. So I think that would be a phenomenal trade that would go on. And some other key names that could be traded by deadline is Evan Neal of the Giants, Arden Key of the Titans, and even Chris Olave of the Saints. We could see him get traded to a team that's in need of a receiver, like a Bills that's really dominant but needs a receiver. So those are just a few players that could get traded. But now let's get into a specific player that's playing out of his mind right now. I was talking about him just a minute ago. In my eyes, he's the best defensive player in the league right now. He means so much to his team. He's the reason why they're 4-1 through 5 weeks, and that is Devin Lloyd. He is the defensive player of the year right now in my eyes. He had a 99-yard pick six against the Chiefs on Monday, and he's been doing this all year long. We saw him, 2 weeks ago against the Niners. He had 2 picks. He's a linebacker, everybody. He's a linebacker. And for him to go in and have the amount of interceptions that he does have, it's insane. It's insane. He is so talented. And, on the topic of end season awards now that I think that through 5 weeks of football, Devin Lloyd is going to be Defensive Player of the Year, I wanted to take a look at, my end season awards as of right now through 5 weeks. So I think through 5 weeks of football, I can say that Baker Mayfield is going to be my MVP. If I had the power to vote who my MVP would be, it would definitely be Baker Mayfield through 5 weeks. So he's had 4 game-winning drives in 5 weeks of football. He means so much to his team, and we're seeing this live. Let's look at him even last week against the Seattle Seahawks. That's a tough team to play, and especially going into Seattle and playing them. I understand they don't have the best defense, but he still had to put together a game-winning drive for them. So, I don't know. I love Baker, man. He represents everything that is in an MVP right now in my eyes. Take Baker off the Bucs. What are they? They're nothing. And, I did say, if you asked me last week, I could say, look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he's really good. But now I can't really say that. He lost to the Patriots, he didn't play bad. But, I look at him and I say, Baker is more valuable right now. That's what I think. I think Baker's more valuable right now. You could even, make the argument that Dak Prescott could be in there. So, take that into consideration. But I think Baker's my MVP right now through 5 weeks of football. And my offensive player of the year right now would be Puka Nacua for sure. He's on pace to break receiving records this year. He's on pace to break the single-season receiving records and receptions. He's having a great season for this Rams squad. He's going to get... he's on pace for 1,999 yards. He's on pace for 2,000 yards. That's insane to think about. He could even win MVP. He could win both. So, I look at it and I say, he can win both. Puka Nacua is the most dominant receiver, the best receiver in football right now, hands down. My defensive player of the year, as stated earlier, Devin Lloyd. He has so much impact on this team. He means everything to this team. That's the reason why they're 4-1, like I said earlier, and he's everywhere on the field for this Jags defense. My rookie offensive player of the year is Emeka Egbuka, Baker's wide receiver, 1 right now. I think he's a top 5 receiver in the NFL right now, and we saw on Sunday how dominant he can be in big-time games. Week 1, he called his number through and through. He got him on that post route. Like I said, it was in episode 1 or episode 2 where I did that. And he looks great right now through 5 weeks, and I expect him to keep this production going forward even when Mike Evans comes back. I think that Emeka Egbuka is still the wide receiver 1 of this team. My rookie defensive player of the year right now it's undecided right now, to say the least. not to say that everybody has been underwhelming as far as defense goes. We have a few people that there's a few people that I do like, but I think when it's all said and done, Abdul Carter will have this locked up by the end of the year, especially with rumors that Kayvon Thibodeau is on the trade deadline, the trade block, and he could get traded by the trade deadline. This could mean that Abdul Carter will see more reps as the year goes on. So next one is Dylan Gabriel. He made his first start with the Browns. I think he played well for his first career start. Despite the loss, he made good decisions, valued the football, and ran the system well. And for right now, that's what you want out of your rookie QB. If I'm the Cleveland Browns head coach, I'm saying, props to you, brother. You played good. He ran the system well. They were this close to winning. They played good. They played a good football game. And, don't be flashy. Don't try to be Superman. Just make the throws that you can, and it could set you up to win the game. Yes, the Browns fell short, but if I'm a Browns fan, I am thrilled to see the amount of young talent that we have in this offense. So, look alive, Browns fans. The darkness isn't going to be here for much longer. I think Dylan Gabriel is going to come in here and really impact this team. You have guys like Isaiah Bond, Harold Fannin, Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, and even in your backfield, Quinshon Judkins. He could be a top 15 running back by the end of the year. So, looking at this team, I'm like, I'm thrilled for them. I'm thrilled for the Cleveland Browns because they look young and they're developing in real time all together. So that's great. The Broncos, they made a vulnerable Eagles team finally come to light. I heard somewhere that the Eagles team was like a leaky faucet. I heard that from Colin Cowherd, and how true that is because they remind me of the Chiefs last year. They would win these close games by the skin of their teeth and escape at all costs to win. I'm telling you guys right here, right now, that if the Eagles make it to the playoffs, their playoff performance is going to be in due time where they just sink, kind of like the Chiefs did last year, what the Eagles did to them last year by blowing them out. It's bound to happen. They don't look as good this year as they did last year. I don't know why, but they just don't look as good. The Eagles are passing the ball so much. When you have a guy named Saquon Barkley in the backfield for you, the Eagles need to stop getting caught up in the media and stick to who they are. Keep running the football. But they can't run the ball right now as effectively as they could last year, and that's just a fact. He's getting tackled 1 yard right after he gets past the line of scrimmage. And, last year was 2.5. So that's a big difference from 2,000 yards and 1,000 yards this year. So for the Broncos, this is a huge win for them. The Broncos proved here that they can be any team in the league, and especially with a QB like Bo Nix and a mind of Sean Payton, they can be anybody in the league. They could be the best AFC team in the league by the end of the year. We don't know right now. It's only 5 weeks in, but they look very promising despite their record. This weekend, we might have seen the greatest QB duel ever. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, man. I look at it and, these were two guys that they were on the same team just a few years ago in Carolina. I remember, last week Baker was asked a question about reminiscing of the days in Carolina. And he said, what? Reminiscing? You're not reminiscing over those days. He got cut. What's the Rams? Balled out in the Rams uniform. And, it's awesome to see two QBs finally start to put it together. Finally start to see that, it's not us, it's the coaches. And, that's also true. That's the thing about being a first-round draft pick as a QB, especially first overall. When you go to these teams are crappy. These are crappy franchises right now. So when Baker went to the Cleveland Browns, I think weren't they freshly off their 0-17 season, I believe. And, he comes in, makes them win, I think, 7 games. So, seeing Baker do that, I remember watching Baker when he won 7 games, and I looked at him, I said, wow, this guy is great. He's really going to turn the Browns around. And then next year, he's playing through injury that we didn't even know about. Us NFL fans, we didn't even know about. It was behind the scenes, but he was dealing with injury that year. So, also, let's talk about Sam Darnold here. He played good last year in Minnesota, and then this year it's kind of like a can you do it again thing, right? And, he's definitely doing that. This proves that coaching matters so much in the NFL for a QB to succeed. Both Darnold and Mayfield had over 300 yards passing, and Sam Darnold threw 4 passing touchdowns and Baker threw 2. Darnold ends up folding in the end with a costly interception to put the Bucs in position to win this game. Nevertheless, what a game it was. Constant back and forth, and it was a treat to see 2 resurging QBs battle it out. Next one, Amari DiMercato. It's a trend right now to see NFL players not finish a play. It's crazy to me. You're in the NFL, man. Amari DiMercato had a 70-yard run to put the game to sleep and get an easy win against the Titans, but he decides to showboat and drops the ball at the 1-inch yard line, called a fumble touchback. And what ends up happening is the Titans, that's momentum for them. They go get the ball, they score, and they end up winning on a game-winning field goal at the end of regulation. Not only for Amari DiMercato, but we also saw A.D. Mitchell do it last week. We saw Malachi Corley do it as well. I think this is the most selfish thing that you can do in the game of football. We have to stop this now because, what happened to finishing 5 yards through the end zone? And for 2 guys that need to make names for themselves with impact plays, you have to score on those type of plays. You have to. Like, if you want to keep your job, you gotta finish through the line, brother. Those are free touchdowns for you. Drake May is coming, and everyone needs to watch out. He looked good last year with a bad team, but now with this revised Patriots team, you can start to see them compete, especially with a culture coach like Mike Vrabel. I was watching that game. It wasn't not expected that the Patriots would go in and play like they did in that type of fashion. They picked up a huge win against the best team in football. They made the Bills look mediocre. Drake May was making very good throws, and Stephon Diggs is helping him out a whole lot to be successful, to be a successful QB in the NFL. I don't know where the Patriots could end up at the end of the year, but the AFC, it's wide open right now. Anybody could take it. The Ravens, Chiefs, and Bengals are all bad this year. So the AFC is wide open for a Jaguars, a Colts, and the Patriots to go and make a deep run in the playoffs. This is their year to do that. On the topic of the Jaguars, they're scaring me a little. That defense looks so good, and they're winning games with their offense not playing up to par. The defense gets these takeaways week in and week out. They've been doing this for the past 2 years. The defense gets a whole lot of takeaways, and if Trevor can make plays like this, like he did a couple years ago, watch out for the Jags in the AFC. The Jags, like I said, their offense isn't even good yet, and they're winning these games. They're sitting at 4-1, and their offense is below average. If their offense really picks up, who's to say they won't make it to the AFC Championship? It could be them and the Colts in the AFC Championship. I know they're interdivisional, but these 2 teams are great. They're great team. Both of them are great teams. So I don't know. The Jags, they could really put it together by the end of the year and really show their dominance. I'm excited about the Jaguars, though. My gamers of the week here. Let's start off with Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne of the 49ers on Thursday. Mac went 33 for 49 for 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and Kendrick Bourne with 10 receptions for 142 yards. Staying on Thursday, Matt Stafford 30 for 47, 389, and 3 touchdowns. Crazy Thursday game. I was surprised that the 49ers won that game. Mac Jones looks better in that system than Brock Purdy does. Rico Dello, the Carolina Panthers, with 200 yards rushing and a touchdown to put the Panthers on top in this game. Few players from the Bucs and Seahawks game here. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold, 28 for 34, 341 and 4 touchdowns, but 1 interception. Baker went 29 for 33 for 379 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Also, both of their complimentary Ohio State receivers and Emeka Egbuka and Jackson Smith-Njigba are gamers of the week as well. Egbuka with 7 receptions for 163 yards and a touchdown, and Jackson Smith-Njigba with 8 receptions for 132 yards and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson with 7 receptions for 123 yards, and Quinshon Judkins with 110 yards on the ground. CJ Stroud, he looks like himself this game, 23 for 27 for 244 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. A couple of players from the Cowboys here with Dak Prescott and Javonte Williams. Dak went 18 for 19 for 237 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. And Javonte Williams with 135 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor had 3 touchdowns against the Raiders. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt with 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bill. Jamar Chase had 6 receptions for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Stephon Diggs to cap off Sunday night with a clinic against the Bills, 10 receptions for 146 yards. All right, on to the topic of college football. Let's talk about indecisive QBs. And one QB in particular, Arch Manning. QBs like him are struggling to make quick decisions. That's why they're not successful right now. There are 2 things that I look for in a QB, and that's when I really decide, are they good? Are they not good? One of them is pocket presence. If you do not have good pocket presence, I don't think you could be successful playing football, period, let alone the NFL. We see QBs have bad pocket presence right now, like an Arch Manning, where their pocket presence is awful. He got sacked so many times, and I was just sitting there, I was like, dude, what's your pocket presence, man? And pocket presence kind of goes hand in hand with my second element here, and that's also, quick decisions. Make quick decisions with the football, please. So when I watch a guy like Tom Brady play, right, he made quick decisions constantly. He either said, I'm going to throw it, or maybe he didn't really run that much, but I was either going to throw it or I'm going to run it. And if I can't do either of those, I'm just going to throw it away, live for another down. I think when we watch Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes, these 3 guys, and even Lamar Jackson, they all make very quick decisions, and that's why they're so successful in the NFL right now, because they're so quick to what they want to do with the football. So I think to be successful in the league, you have to make good decisions and quick decisions. When I watch Arch Manning, I see indecisiveness in his play. Part of the reason he took so many sacks against the Bears last week was because he was indecisive. The greats like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and even now with Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson make these decisions so quick about what they're going to do with the football and how true that is. Another thing about college football, Malachi Toney is the Ryan Williams of this year. True freshman putting up a great game against Florida State. 7 receptions for 107 yards and 2 electrifying touchdowns in a win against Florida State. The biggest thing in college football that needs to be talked about is Penn State losing against that winless UCLA squad. What happened there? Shout out to Nico Iamaleava. He plays... he decimated this Penn State squad. He decimated them. But this is what happens to Penn State every single year. They're always a great team on paper, and then they play a few games. We're like, they're really good, so we'll put them on number 3 on the AP poll, and then, they'll lose to, James Madison. And we're like, come on, man. Like, How do you lose against James Madison? And I mean, that's just a hypothetical, but they do lose to teams that they should win against every single year, and that's what hurts them. That's why they're not in the college football playoff every year, because they lose games against teams that they should win against. It's more of like a discipline thing for them. As far as matchups go, this Saturday, UCF versus North Texas should be a fun game to see unfold because North Texas is undefeated and USF is back in the top 25. Indiana, Oregon is going to be an interesting game to see as well. Two Heisman candidates going at it in that one. And then Georgia, Auburn should also be interesting because Auburn, despite them having two losses, they compete in a lot of these games and they tend to keep these games pretty close. So those are my three highlighted games that I'm going to definitely be watching this week. So I was searching around and I found this, and it was the CBS making their early mock drafts already. And this was an interesting list, and some of the picks I do agree with and I do like, but there are also some where I'm kind of like, I'm kind of iffy about. So we're going to be doing the top 10 picks here and seeing what my thoughts about it. Number 1, round 1, pick 1, Dante Moore to the Jets. I think this will happen. Dante Moore will be the number 1 pick of the draft regardless. I think he is the best player in college football right now. And I think he's probably going to win Heisman this year. A lot of people are saying Fernando Mendoza, but I look at a guy like Dante Moore and I say he's very poised, especially versus Penn State. He played very good. He's composed and confident. Round 1, pick 2 by the Cincinnati Bengals, Ruben Bain. This pick is also very likely to happen. Now, I don't know at number 2, but Ruben Bain to the Bengals seems amazing because you have Trey Hendrickson and add Ruben Bain, who's playing very well. He's a violent edge rusher. That would be an insane pick. Number 3, Peter Woods out of Clemson. Clemson, they do need pass rush. Cam Jordan's starting to get old, and he's probably going to retire, especially after this year. So, really fulfilling that role with an interior lineman like him. I think I could see that pick as well. Number 4, Keldrick Folk, D tackle out of Auburn. I don't know about this pick here because when I look at it, I say Bryce Young needs as much help as possible. And I look at this Carolina's defense and I say their defense is they're not that bad on defense. It's the offense that needs to evolve and keep developing. So I see him getting a offensive lineman at that pick, but Carolina Panthers getting a D tackle is also not the worst move either. I do think the Carolina Panthers should go O-line or D-line in this draft and stay away from the skill players. An O-tackle picked at number 5 for the Giants, Spencer Fano out of Utah. Yeah, especially with Evan Neal. He could probably be traded before trade deadline, so they're going to need help on that O-line, and this guy could fill in the shoes for them here. Number 6, TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson. Yeah, they need all the help that they can get, but this could be their pick, especially for the Titans, but I see him getting like a dominant receiver like a Jordan Tyson. They need receiver help, and I see the Titans going after receiver 100% in this draft. Number 7, Fernando Mendoza gets picked out of Indiana to the Raiders. That's a very believable pick as well because the Geno Smith experiment is not working out over there, and Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders sounds very, very likely. Number 8, Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. I can see this, but I can also see him go quarterback as well. We don't know what's in store for Tua there. They could go offensive line. We don't know, but I could also see them going quarterback here. But safety is also a position that they do need. I understand they have Minka Fitzpatrick, but they also do need a safety. So Caleb Downs, he's a dynamic player. So that would be a very good pick for them. The Browns would pick. They say in the mock draft that they're going to pick an offensive lineman as well at Miami. Yeah. With Dylan Gabriel there, yeah, I could see it. I could see it for sure. Yeah, I mean, they have a great defense. They have a good bunch of good skill players. Build that line to help your QB succeed in this league. And yeah, I could see them going out of this pick here. And then number 10, Jeremiah Love gets picked out of Notre Dame. Oof, Jeremiah Love. Is he the best running back in the country right now? Still. I don't know. I mean, I look at the running back from Miami. I think his name is Fletcher. He's really good. So I don't know. I do see the Cardinals going running back, but it's who it's going to be at the end of the year. We don't know. Number 11, Jordan Tyson finally gets picked out of Arizona State to the Patriots, and that's very fitting as well. But I don't see him falling to number 11 in this draft. Jordan Tyson's one of those players where he's going to have immediate impact right out the gate. But, for him to go to a Drake May-led offense, that would be that would probably be the best landing spot for him there. And then Mansour Delane out of LSU, senior, going to the Rams. Yeah, I could see this one as well because the Rams, they don't have a lockdown corner anymore. They don't have Jalen Ramsey anymore. And, yes, they do have that pass rush still, but their corners are not the greatest in the world. So, them picking this high and getting a corner, that's very believable for me. Number 13, Colton Hood out of Tennessee to Chicago. I don't know. Yeah, I could see it. The Bears do have a bad secondary right now. Jalen Johnson's hurt right now, but they still do need secondary help. Tyreek Stevenson, he's okay. So yeah, Colton Hood out of Tennessee to Chicago. I could very well see this one. Avion Terrell out of Clemson for the Cowboys. Again, kind of the same situation like the Bears do. They do need help in the secondary right now. Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, they're hurt. Trayvon Diggs, he's not really a man corner, so they do need help there. So yeah, I could very well see this as well. Some other notable names that go are Caden Proctor, Mekhi Lemon, AJ Harris, Carnell Tate, Kenyon Sadiq, Caleb Banks, Denzel Boston, Jermad McCoy, Ty Simpson, Trevor Gooseby, Mateo Uangalele, Romello Height, Antonio Williams, Arvell Reese, Caleb Lomu, John Mateer, and then Connor Liu as well. Those are all the picks that were in the mock draft for the first round. Go check it out on CBS. But now for the big thing of the day here, and this is the reason why you watch the podcast every week, to see where I'm wrong the next Thursday. It's the takes of the week here. So we have Eagles versus Giants here. Wow. See, the Eagles, they didn't play good last week. The Giants, they should have won last week as well. And this is a game. It's it's a division rival game. I am going to take the Eagles. Probably not by much. Probably by a touchdown. In that game, I think the Eagles will get back on the schedule and start winning football games and winning them the right way, like they did last year. Chargers versus Dolphins. I think the Chargers are going to get back on track as well. I think I could see them winning by a touchdown in this game. Quentin Johnston's really, still putting pedal to the metal. Let's just see if the defense can really hold up against this explosive Dolphins offense still. Seahawks versus Jaguars. Man. This is a tough game. This is a good game here. Give me the Jags on this one. I think the Jags, defensively they're very stout and they get takeaways. And the Jags, if they put up 23 points this game, I think they'll firmly have it in control by 3 points. 49ers versus Buccaneers. That's going to be a great game as well. Give me the Niners on this one. I think the Bucs, they're very injured on defense right now, and Mac Jones is really flowing in the system, so give me the Bucs in this game. I think it's going to be a very close game, just like every single Bucs game is. I'll take the 49ers by 3 on this one. In London, Broncos versus Jets. Give me the Broncos in this game. The Broncos, like I said, they've proved that they can beat anybody in this league, and it's no different for the Jets. The Jets, they haven't played very good all year, and I don't really see them being a team that's really carrying with momentum. Again, they just beat the Philadelphia Eagles, so I don't see the Jets really doing much against the Broncos in this one. Browns versus Steelers. Give me the Browns in this game. Give me the Browns against the Steelers. I think Dylan Gabriel's really going to lock in and deliver the throws like he did last week, but this defense is going to hold up a lot better than they did last week against the Vikings. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to struggle against the Browns pass rush. So, yeah, give me the Browns by 3 on this one. Patriots Saints, give me the Patriots. Drake May's starting to play really well. Stephon Diggs, they're starting to connect. So, give me the Patriots in that one, probably by 10 on that one. Rams versus Ravens, give me the Rams. I don't know if Lamar Jackson's even playing, but the Rams, they're clicking on all cylinders. Puka Nacua is going to absolutely torch the Ravens. I don't really see the Ravens putting up much of a fight against one of the best teams in the NFC right now. Cardinals versus Colts. Give me the Colts. Daniel Jones is starting to, he's putting it together still. Jonathan Taylor's playing fantastic, and that defense is also playing fantastic. The Cardinals, I think they can compete in this game, yes, but I don't think they'll be at that level that the Colts are on right now. Cowboys versus Panthers. Give me the Cowboys on this one. I think the Panthers will keep it competitive, will keep it close, but the Cowboys, Dak Prescott's really carrying that team to victory right now, and that's no different in this game as well for me. Titans versus Raiders. Wow, this is a bad game here. This is a really, really bad game. Wow. Cam Ward's starting to put it together a little bit. Geno doesn't look good. The Titans have a good run defense, and Ashton GT is really all they got. So give me the Titans in this one. I think Cam Ward can really muster up a win in this one. I think if the Titans even score 17 points in this game, they could win this game. Bengals versus Packers. Give me the Packers despite Joe Flacco having his start in the Bengals. It's going to look rough the first week. So give me the Packers against the Bengals in this one. Lions Chiefs, that's going to be a solid game. I think the Lions are going to win by a landslide. The Chiefs, they're not very good. They're not very good right now. They lost to the Jags. Their offense, they still can't really put it together, and they're playing the Lions, who are an offensive heavy team. So I just see the Lions just simply outshooting the Chiefs in this game. And then Monday we have 2 games. Bills versus Falcons. Give me the Bills in this one. Despite the loss last week, I think the Bills bounced back and they beat the Falcons in an away game. I think the Bills will probably win by 3 on this one. The Falcons, I don't think they can really put it together, and this is a very hard game to do so. And then Bears versus Commanders. I think this is a closer game than a lot of people think. Caleb Williams is starting to put it together. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels is back. This is going to be a close game, but I think we take the Commanders on this one, but props to the Bears. I think the Bears can really put up a fight in this one against a team that made the NFC Championship last year. So, yeah, give me the Commanders by 6 on this one. All right, so a little bit of NBA content here. The NBA just put out their top 100 players, and we're going to be looking at the top 20 specifically here, and getting my thoughts on what I think about these takes here. So at number 20, they put Kawhi Leonard. This is fair because I think if Kawhi Leonard is healthy, he's a top 10 player, but he's never healthy. He played he played a lot of these games this season, so putting him at 20 is not a bad ranking. I do definitely think he's better than the 19 guy, which is Jaylen Brown. Yes, he's good, but I don't really see him being better than Kawhi Leonard, especially because Kawhi Leonard has defensive upside to him. So I don't see Jaylen Brown really I think he should be a top 25 player probably in my eyes. Especially, also Jimmy Butler's here at 18 ahead of Kawhi Leonard too. I think he's a top 30 player. I think Jaylen Brown's better than Jimmy Butler in my eyes. Yes, he came in and had a good impact for this Warrior squad, but I think Jaylen Brown and Kawhi Leonard are definitely better than them. 17, Paolo Banchero. That's a fair rating here. That's a very fair rating. I like it. Paolo Banchero, he's one of, if not the best young athlete in the league. So yeah, Paolo Banchero at 17 is a very good ranking here. Devin Booker at 16. That's a very good ranking too. He's always very consistent. So, Devin Booker, we'll see what he does this year with the squad that he has around him. So, I do like this ranking here. And then we have Donovan Mitchell at 15. I think Donovan Mitchell, hot take, is a top 10 NBA player right now in this league. I think he's very talented, man. We see what he did for the Cleveland Cavs last year, and just the impact that he had was insane. Anthony Davis at 14. I don't think he's better than Donovan Mitchell or even a Paolo Banchero right now, just because of injuries. Yes, Anthony Davis. He is good when he's on the court, but he's barely on the court. So I can't really say that I would put Anthony Davis in a top 20 conversation right now. Evan Mobley at 13. I like this. I do like this a lot. Evan Mobley is very good. Defensively, especially, he might be the best defensive player in the league. And, really just all the the impact that he had on the Cleveland Cavs, as well as Donovan Mitchell. Is he better than Donovan Mitchell, though? I don't know. I don't think he's better than Donovan Mitchell, but he's pretty close. So, Evan Mobley at 13, it's a little high, but it's a solid ranking. Cade at 12, very respected. Very respected. Brought the Pistons to a playoff appearance, and, they balled out last season, making it to the 4th seed. So, Cade Cunningham, he's got that, man. He's really good. Jalen Williams at 11, that's the biggest fraud in this list for sure. Jalen Williams, he's okay. He's decent. I don't think that J-Dub is really all that talented. He's not amazing by any means. He's just a good superstar. I think Jaylen Brown is better than him. So Jalen Williams at number 11, and let's get into the top 10 here. All right, getting into it here. They have Jalen Brunson at number 10. That's very well deserved. He made the Knicks very good last year and very well respected, but I don't think he's better than the number 9 guy. I think he's better than the number 9 guy, actually. Sorry. Kevin Durant at number 9. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. Kevin Durant, he's a very good player, and I have mad respect for Kevin Durant, but I think he's a top 15 player right now. Definitely not top 10. LeBron James at 8, I agree with this. Yes, he's very good for his age, but you could see, he's not one of the top 5 talents in the league right now. So I believe that LeBron James right here is a very good placing. Steph Curry at 7, man, I don't know. I like it. Actually, I like it. I think that, there's 6 players that are better than them. That's fine. I think there are 6 players that are better than Steph Curry right here, right now. But I think Steph Curry, has one of the best odds to win a championship over a guy like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, any guy that's in his age range. Anthony Edwards at 6. This one, I like it. Anthony Edwards is okay. He needs to learn to not be a ball hog and to learn to pass, because he's never going to win a ring unless he figures out, hey, I got to get my teammates involved. Anthony Edwards is a very good player himself. I want to see it with other players. So Anthony Edwards at 6, I think it's a little high. I think he should be more of the 10 range, but he's good. He is very good. So I'm not mad at it. Victor Wembanyama at 5, very fair. When he's on the court, he changes the whole game, and he was averaging 4 blocks, 24 points, and 11.5 rebounds. I mean, that's insane. That's alien numbers. So just seeing Wembanyama, let's see if he can play a whole year healthy this year. And I think if he does, he could very well win MVP this year. Giannis at 4. He played very well this year. He was probably the third best player in the NBA last year. I'm intrigued to see who are the 3 guys that were over him. I know SGA and Jokic are probably going to be in there, but I wonder who's the one guy that's going to be ahead of him in the number 3 spot here. But yeah, Giannis is very talented, very good. And he was probably coming off the best season of his career last year, and it just went under the radar like that. They have Doncic at 3. Okay, that's fine. Doncic is an MVP candidate through and through, and he could possibly win MVP this year with the Lakers. We'll see how everything pans out with Luka on the Lakers this year. We saw it, mid-season last year, end of late last year, and he played good for the Lakers in that time being. And then Shea is at 2. Wow, Shea is at 2. I thought Shea was going to be at 1, honestly. I thought he was, which means they have Jokic at 1. So, yeah. I agree with this list here. I agree with at least the top 5. I could advocate for the top 5 here. That's a solid top 5 list. Jokic is the best player in the NBA. I talked about it a few episodes ago. Jokic means more to his team than anything, and I think he's just subjectively he is better than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, despite winning the championship this year. Shout out to Shea SGA, but he's not as good as Jokic is, and I think I'm glad ESPN really realized that. So anyways, that's going to do it for the 5th quarter today. I'm your host, Caden Nagyar, and as always, enjoy the sports this weekend. Goodbye. 5th quarter's out.